welcome back to my channel, and today we're in a new place with a new person. This is my little Rhea. If you're not in Greek life, little is basically just like your little sister. But yeah, so this is Rhea.
Hello, nice to meet you. This is my big.
So today we're going to be doing, she's going to do my makeup because she is amazing at makeup. You should follow her on TikTok and Instagram. She has
Makeup by Rhea.
Makeup by Rhea, there you go. So I'll have the links and everything in my description, but she's amazing, so she's going to do my makeup.
Yay!
So she's probably just going to say like tips or stuff like that for makeup since, like I said, I don't know anything, and she's the pro, so I'm gonna let her take over this makeup.
I don't really have like any, I don't know, tips or anything. I just do it as I do it, if that makes sense. I'll probably do your eyebrows first.
So why do you start with your eyebrows first?
I just feel like it's easier to like understand like the shape of your face once you're, or like how your face is gonna look once your eyebrows are done first. And it also takes the longest, like it's one of the longest things for me to do because like I have very little hair, and so I have to like fill them in all the time or like draw the hair on, and it takes the longest, so I like doing it first to get it out of the way. Me, I like feathering out because your eyebrow hairs come up in the front and then they feather out the opposite direction, so I like just to like follow them, if that makes sense.
Do you recommend like using a foundation or like a certain thing under your eyebrows to highlight?
It honestly just depends on the kind of look you're going for. I like to use like a light concealer. Like the concealer I use under my eyes is what I use for like cleaning up and highlighting under my brow, just because it like adds like that definition to your eyebrow. Or you can also just use like your regular color foundation if that's what you prefer, like rather it to look darker than a little bit lighter. I like it lighter just because. And then I also sometimes I put highlighter underneath too, like actual like glitter highlighter. Now that your brows are done, I'm gonna conceal them, which is what I'm talking about right now.
I'm not gonna look at it either until it's all done. That's like the only thing I have. So like most of my stuff is from like drugstore. I don't really have like Sephora stuff, or I have a few things that are Sephora and Ulta, and then like a few makeup palettes people gave me, but most of the stuff I got was from drugstore. So don't think you have to have like Ulta or Sephora stuff to, you know, have a glamorous look. Like most of the stuff is drug stuff, so.
Most of the stuff I use is drugstore stuff too. Like aside from like maybe a primer, because that's like, for me, that's one of the most important parts, is making sure your face is primed, so you're like basically not wasting your foundation and it comes off. But other than that, I literally use like Maybelline like every single day because it works. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna spend like hundreds of dollars, especially now when I don't have that kind of money. Like,
yeah.
Like there's no point in going out and getting that.
Do you have any like favorite products? So you said Maybelline. Is there anything else that you really like to use?
I like the Maybelline Fit Me concealer. What else do I like? I like the Professional primer. That's one of my favorite primers to use, or even Wet n Wild, that little like basic white primer that they have. I found works really good too. But a lot of the actually like the products I use are drugstore. Like the Wet n Wild baking powder is my favorite too.
Yeah, see, I always hear about baking and like primer. So like, what does a primer do? Like, I don't know if it's just like to close your pores or.
Different primers have different things depending on your type of skin. Like you want to pick a primer that's like meant for you. So like an oil-free primer is meant for people with more oily skin. There's ones that have oil in it that are meant for people who have drier skin, and then there's like one for people that have combo skin. So it just depends. But the purpose of it, it's supposed to like keep your skin hydrated, but also like make sure that your foundation and like your makeup lasts all day, because there's no point in like doing a whole face of makeup for an hour and then it comes off within like 30 minutes. Quiet when I do my eyebrows because it freaks me out. For me though, my eyebrows take the longest because I do like this technique called soap brow. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's basically like you get like a bar of soap and a spoolie and you wet it, and it makes you like brush it through your brow hairs, and it makes them like stay in one position all day. And my eyebrows naturally like grow this way, and I didn't like how it looked, so in order for my eyebrow hairs to go up straight, I like soap them down so they'll stay up all day, and then I can get my shape from there because I don't really have like a shape to my eyebrow.
Oh, is that kind of like the brow gel, or?
Yeah, it's kind of the same technique. It's just
more natural.
And more work.
Yeah. So what's the importance of blending? Because I always hear you gotta blend, blend, blend.
Just so things like, well, just so they blend together, just so everything looks cohesive and it's not like separated, if that makes sense. You don't want to be able to tell like the difference, like a line here and a line here and a line here. You want it all to flow together just because it looks better. All right, now that your brows are blended out, I'm gonna put a little bit. I'm gonna do your eyes first. I like doing eyeshadow first because it's easier, because you don't want to put your foundation on and then when you go in to do your eyeshadow just gonna fall all over your foundation, and then when you're gonna try to dust it away and it's gonna ruin your foundation. So that's the main reason why I like to do eyeshadow first. Some people do it backwards. Those people have skill. I do not have skill like that. And eye primer is good because it also like traps in like the color of your eyeshadow and makes everything blend together too, so it's not like moving around, because a lot of the times when I don't use primer, my eyeshadow moves around and it looks kind of weird at the end of the day.
Especially during summer because it's so hot and everything.
Now another trick that I like to do, I like to take the foundation that I use and I put that on the eye too. Just because it gives you like an even base. I have like pink, like my eyes are like naturally like pink or red, like my eyelids. Some people have like dark blues or like purples, like your eyes are kind of like have that dark purple blue color to them. This kind of like cancels that out too, so it's like even and the color comes up all the same on both eyes. There's so many steps, like I didn't realize it till, sorry.
You're fine.
I didn't realize it till like I took my time and was like, oh, like there's so many steps to doing makeup. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Okay, the palette I decided to use today because she never touched it is the Morphe, I don't even know which one this is. The 39S palette. It looks like this. Has a lot of purples. I've been digging the purples and pinks lately, so I decided to do this. Honestly, I have no idea right now. I'm definitely going to use a pink and purple. Comes to me as I go. And like once the colors like blend together, you kind of get an idea of like what colors will look better together once they're like next to each other. But I think I'm going to do like a cut crease today. So I'm going to start with this dark hole over here. So a cut crease is when you take like, I like to start darker and go lighter, and then you use concealer to like make like the line kind of, if that makes sense, and then you put a lighter color on the inside or any other color you want. It's better, it like shows like the hood of your eyes, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna start out with the dark purple color, the darkest purple color there is, just because it blends out and it'll blend lighter. So I'm gonna start and I'm gonna pack this on the outer part of your eye, and I like to pack the eyeshadow before I start blending it because it just like adds more pigment, because if you immediately just go in blending your eyeshadow, you're just like blending out all the pigment. So I like to deposit the color first and then I'll blend it out. And this is why I like doing eyeshadow first, because there's already like the fallout coming down underneath your eye, and so it'll be easier to just take a makeup wipe and remove it rather than like waiting for your foundation to be done and then you have to remove all of your foundation. But that's just my opinion. Some people don't.
That actually makes a lot of sense though.
Yeah. Alright, now that I packed the color, I'm just gonna start blending it. I'm gonna take all the extra product and like wipe it off though. I'm gonna start blending it out.
And use the same brush to blend?
Once I add more colors is when I like to start using more brushes. So for this first color, I'm gonna pack the color and then I'll blend it out with the same brush. And then once I add like a pink or something, I'll take another brush and then I'll use an extra brush to blend those two together. That way one color isn't dominating the other color. Honestly, I don't really have like a set system of like what brush I use for what. Like of course there's like eyeshadow brushes, but all eyeshadow brushes are basically the same to me. Except whether or not they're skinny or they're more fluffy. A more fluffy brush I like to use to just like smoke everything out, and then like a more defined brush like that like is meant for like smaller like spaces or just to like pack on the color. So the next color I'm going to use is like this lighter purple color. I don't know if I'm going to show them. This lighter purple color, and that's just going to help us transition into the pink. I'm going to take this brush and pack that color on. I'm just going to do the same. I'm going to pack it first and then I'm going to blend it out. Purple colors are definitely harder to work with though.
It's just like dark or?
Because it's dark, but also like they transfer like to the eye weird. Like sometimes they're a lot more patchy than other colors. I don't know why, but that's just what I've noticed from like every palette that I've used that has like purple in it. Like it's always been like the harder color to like blend or like work with, which is definitely why I steered clear from them. But then I don't know why I just started liking them a lot actually. And it definitely doesn't have to look nice. Like it's not gonna look, that's what I like about eyeshadow. It doesn't look nice in the beginning until it's like all done and then it looks really good.
So what got you into makeup?
I don't know, I was kind of like the tomboy kid in like elementary school, and so I just kind of like stopped. I started watching YouTube, like I got really into it, and I watched like Nikki tutorials a lot. Like she was my favorite because she was white and she had like a rounder face like I did. I learned like a lot more. And then eventually like I just started asking for my palettes, like random stuff. Like my mom would buy me stuff from Amazon, like the cheap little palettes, and I would practice. And I spent a lot of time by myself like doing it because like all of my siblings had something that they liked to do, and I like being in my room. Like I was a really like antisocial person. I like being in my room, and like this gave me an excuse to be in my room all the time. And then I just fell in love with it, and now I do it almost like every single day. And it's fun. Like it's just like fun to look different every day. Like you don't have to like look like exactly like yourself all the time. Like cut creases are probably my favorite because I'm going with the hot pink shade now.
Vibrant.
And this is gonna go to the inner part of the eye, and I'm gonna pack it, and then I'm gonna blend it out.
Did you have like a favorite color that you like to use? Like, what's your go-to color?
Honestly, I like brown colors on myself, like just because they're easier to blend out. Like they all kind of like match each other. They're easier, and I have a lot of brown like eyeshadow palettes. And it looks more natural, especially like to go out. A lot of times I don't wear my eyeshadow looks that are super extravagant out just because like I haven't like built that confidence to just go to the grocery store looking like that. More natural looking colors when I go out every day. But if I'm gonna stay in, I'll definitely do something like this.
Do you have a favorite brush brand or anything? Like
Morphe. Just because it's like cheaper, and they have, I don't know if they do it anymore, but when I used to live at my old house, like 2 years ago, they had like a subscription or whatever that you could get like brushes every month for like $20, and I would get like 8 brushes every month. And so now I have like a huge like Morphe brush collection.
I think most of mine I got from Ulta. They're like bamboo ones.
Oh, these ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I used to have the Eco Tool. Yeah, Eco Tools.
And then these like mermaid ones, because I love mermaids. My mom just got me mermaid brushes.
Just gonna blend this out.
So like when you do the edges of your eyeshadow, I've noticed when I do mine, it like kind of goes too far, and it's like not like a coherent, like, you know, you see the shapes like they're coherent.
Like a circle.
Yeah,
around.
mine are like all random and stuff. Like how do you get that?
Honestly, it's like how you like blend out your eyeshadow. I like to, just because the shape of my eye, I'm so used to like going outwards. But also you can use your foundation, like when you like put your foundation on, you can like build it around and like blend it out, or you can even take a makeup wipe and like make sure you have like the circle or the shape you want. But it's also just like blending it, like the motion that you go. So I like to do it in circles, that way it's not like, you know, randomly all over the place. This one kind of is just because I'm blending it out so much because it's purple. But you can like totally fix that with like, even a Q-tip or whatever. So I'm gonna clean this up first just because I'm gonna make the shape like I said. So I just like to go in a circle.
Is there like too far for your eyeshadow? Because I sometimes have it going all the way out to the side.
It's all the way, it's honestly up to you. Like sometimes I'll have it come out to here, like I'll use tape and like so it'll be like a straight line. It's just like, it's your preference. Like everything, all of this is your preference. Literally I'll do a full face of makeup, and then like I'll see like one thing where I'm just like, no, and then I'll just take the whole thing off and I'll start over again. I've done it so many times.
Jeez, you're like the whole face makeup?
Yeah, so like, well, a lot of the times it's my face makeup that I'm like, no, like all, like my nose would be peeling, and then that's mostly because like maybe the primer wasn't like a right primer to go with the right type of foundation. I've done it several times, and then eventually I'm just like, no, I'm not gonna wear makeup today, and just take it all off. I'm gonna cut the eye, do the cut crease now. I just like to take concealer, like a little bit of concealer on the brush, make the inside of the eye lighter, just because I like to add lighter colors on the inside instead of darker ones. So I'm probably gonna add like a glitter or something on the inside. So I take like a flat concealer brush, and I try to get it as flat as I possibly can.
So why do you use your hand to like put the product on first?
On here? Just because I don't like wiping stuff, and if there's extra product, it's easier for me to just go in here. And what I like to do, I like to just follow the shape of the eye. Some people have naturally like hooded eyes, so it's easier, but if anything, you can make your own. And this is probably one of the harder parts, because like you like to make the line as straight as you possibly can without like going over. And I take that all the way out here to the purple color, and then I'll go in with the brush that I use, probably the dark purple brush, the first one that I use, and I'll blend it out. That way there's no like harsh line between the concealer and the eyeshadow, and then it'll just blend together.
So is the concealer like a base or something you put on?
Yeah, the concealer is a base for the glitter, because a lot of times the glitters or like the shimmer eyeshadows don't like stick by themselves, so this makes a tacky base for it to stay. And also it just makes the inside of the eye lighter, because there's that pink color from here that's blended into it too, so this kind of like cancels that out. Alright, now that that's all blended, I'm going to take a smaller brush. I'm gonna add glitter on the inside, or a glitter eyeshadow. I'm probably gonna do this lighter pink one here. Oh, this is like jelly.
I love the glitter.
I've honestly noticed that sometimes with the Morphe palettes, like their eyeshadows, they're like, oh, they're like a jelly type of consistency, and then they're super powdery. And then I'm gonna go in with this little champagne color too. And once that's done, I like to go in with the colors that I used again. I'm going to do eyeliner. The eyes are done almost. We'll have to do under the eye, but I'd like to do that once the face is done. So now I'm gonna start on the face. I'm gonna use this L'Oreal Paris Hydra Genius moisturizer. Never heard of this, but it looks good.
Yeah, Yeah, my mom gave that to me.
Moisturize the face just so the skin is gonna look glowy later.
Ooh, like a massage.
I like doing it extra on the nose. The first step that I like to do for my foundation is I like to outline the eyebrows. Just because it's easier once I get the foundation around the top, I can just blend it rather than trying to like be super precise when I blend it out all together. So I'm gonna get the concealer brush. I like mine super like defined, so I outline them on the top and it helps them look even too.
Yeah, and it's like subtle, I don't even know, but I can definitely see how it like raises it where it's,
It looks it, yeah. So I'm gonna get some concealer on the brush or some foundation that you're gonna use and just outline the top of the brows. And that way if you like mess up or like made a mistake like filling them in, this way you can clean them up a little bit. Now what I like to do is go in with the foundation, and since this is a stick foundation, I'm going to take some and just go over all the little lines everywhere. I'm just going to take this brush, this is a buffing foundation brush, and blend this in. I'm going to take this lighter stick concealer and go underneath the eyes as concealer just to brighten everything. And since we used a cream, we're going to stick to using cream, which I found is easier. I'm going to take this beauty blender, but I'm going to spray it a little bit with setting spray to get it wet.
What does that do?
For me, it just like helps like the product like blend easier. A lot of people use dry beauty blenders, but that doesn't really like blend it out. Like when it's wet, like it'll blend it out easier. I like to get it wet, make sure it's a little squishy, and have you look up. Alright, so I'm gonna set her face now using powder, because when you use like a cream, you want to set it or else it's gonna crease. This foundation setting powder, I think like setting foundation is probably my favorite part. Or like bake. It just like, I like baking mostly if I do like contour and concealer, which is what I do normally. That's like a big thing for me because I don't want it to set, because I use like a lot of creams and stuff, so you really want to bake and like set your face if you use creams. They're gonna move around. Liquids, it's just depending on how they dry. Like some are dewy, so you can set that too. Some dry already matte, so you don't have to really set it, but I have like oily skin, so I like to set it everything. So now that everything's set, I'm gonna go and start bronzing the face and warming it up a little bit. I'm gonna take this Wet n Wild bronzer. Ooh, this is the first bronzer I ever bought before.
Really?
I'm gonna use this like angled brush to bronze up the face a little bit, not too dark.
Does it just add like shadows or?
Yeah, and it kind of just adds like definition back into the face. Bronzer, I like to use bronzer. I use like 2 different bronzers, and then I contour my face with powder too. So I do like the bronzer kind of just adds like the warmth back into it. I'm gonna take this Sephora blush, Healthy Rose, something like that. I'm gonna take a little brush. I like to use this kind of brush for my blush too.
Yeah, I got one brush right.
Yeah,
like,
it just sits better. I'm gonna go on the apples of the cheeks, and I like to blend that into the bronzer just so it looks natural. And another step, I'm gonna highlight. But actually, before I highlight, I'm gonna set the face, just because I like having my highlighter like look brighter than my face, which is what it's supposed to do. So I learned that like if you set the face and make sure it's all set, and then you add the highlighter on top, it's just gonna sit on the face better and it's gonna glow a lot more. Because your highlighter it's not a powder like your blush and your bronzer are, so they shouldn't like melt together like your highlighter is a powder. It's actually like a glitter. It's a different texture, so you want it to sit differently on your face than your bronzer and your powder. And this stuff just like blends everything together, make sure it's all smooth. Now I'm gonna highlight. This is the Jasmine one, Jasmine LaBelle. I'm gonna take a highlighting brush, little fan brush. Right, almost done. All we have to do is under the eyes. I like saving under the eyes for last, just because it just ties everything together. And what I'm just gonna do, I'm just gonna take those colors I used earlier. I'm gonna start out with the dark purple color again, and I'm gonna get like a more like defined brush. That way this can go underneath the eye. So I'm gonna have you look up.
Do you match like your outfits to your eyeshadow, or is it like what makes it pop?
Honestly, I never match. Like I always have like an eyeshadow look, and I'm like, crap, I have nothing to match this with. So I just like wear like black or white, just
because it matches.
It's easier. I'm gonna take the pink color and smoke that color out just so. And bottom mascara. Alrighty, lipstick.
I think they're all over on that side. I have liners and all that kind of stuff too.
I might do, I don't know if I want to do nude because your eyes are pink. Too much pink.
Yeah, I think all the lipsticks.
I want
are
to do this. Like, I used to be obsessed with these lipsticks. I used to have like the whole collection. I like when they came out with their liquid lipsticks too. They're pretty good.
We're done.
Yay.
Oh wow. I look fierce, bro.
Fierce.
I do.
Purple
Jeez.
only some people can rock.
Wow. Oh wow. Yeah, I'm like, now I gotta find an outfit for this. I don't know. I have some like really
Go to the
cute.
grocery store.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, can I get some apples, please? Wow, this is amazing. The eyebrows look so good.
Yeah, just that pencil is really good. The e.l.f. pencils are one of my favorite ones.
All right. Well, thank you so much for doing my makeup.
You're welcome. I'm glad I came.
Glad you guys enjoyed it, and make sure to follow Rhea on her TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. I'll have all the links in there. But yeah, thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.